Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 593 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda, and joining me today for our exciting news geek orbit thing, I got Chris DeBona.
Hello.
And Rob Roseboom.
Hello.
Gentlemen, how was our weekend?
Pretty good.
It's all right.
All pits in my yard are filled. All trenches are recovered. You know, I got nothing to complain about.
You know, yesterday it hit 70 degrees outside my window, and I opened my window just a crack. And immediately had two cats with their noses sticking out that crack. And then a squirrel came up outside, hopped up on the chair, and was like chirping at him. So I had like a squirrel and two cats, and then I had to close the window.
Nature is healing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is nice that it's a little bit warmer out. Unfortunately, unlike Chris, my pit remained empty. I figured with all the kids running around outside, I'd have a fair chance at catching a couple, but no dice.
Well, I think that adding the punji sticks was a bad move. You know, that's probably going to get you an attractive nuisance claim when one of those kids.
For sure, the HOA is not going to like it.
You know, so do you all have a homeowners association?
We do, in theory here.
Oh, okay. In practice, they're bankrupt and nobody does anything, or what?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, someone at work, they posted that they bought a house and the HOA was basically just taking the money and spending it on blackjack and whatever. And so they complained they wanted records, and it turns out they hadn't filed taxes for like 5 years, and they made him president. And they're like, and peaced out.
My God.
It's like, oh, that's not good, you know.
Yeah, my HOA is a product of the fact that technically in some paperwork my house is actually a condominium.
Oh,
because that's
I remember this
development was supposed to be, and the HOA was made at the same time and never dissolved on paper. So wow.
I've been to your neighborhood a number of times, Mr. Roseboom. That is not like any condo I'm familiar with.
Right.
So, Chris, you got the screen up. Do you want to test your GDPR skills by speed running a cookie consent banner?
Let's do it.
This cracks me up.
Okay, I'm gonna hit the button.
All right.
Go.
Oh, first you got to start and read the rules. Oh God.
This is
Disallow
fantastic.
the use.
Isn't it though?
Ad file. Advertising cookies. No. Reset all marketing cookies.
Good luck.
Yes. Legitimate interest marketing cookies. No. Select personalized ads. No. Performance. Disable the use of other.
So I saw one recently that actually made me happy, which was it just was two boxes. It was all necessary cookies or all cookies. And you know, I'm hoping that they're being honest about that, because I feel like they are. I feel the providers, the mid-level providers that have to write all this code, they don't want to do it any more than we want to have to click on these things. But you know, a stupid law is a stupid law.
Close and accept all. No. Select all and confirm. No.
You can do it, man.
No. I confirm selection only.
Good job.
Okay.
Minute 12.
Was that a good one?
I don't know. I didn't take it. I'm not going to waste my time with it. But, you know, the point is that crap is in front of, you know, a third of the websites that you bump into in a typical day. It's horrible.
But come on. Don't Europeans feel better now? Which is really the point.
Yep. You know? There should be a different. This isn't security through obscurity. This is like, there's like an inversion. Like this is privacy, plausible privacy deniability through obfuscation.
Yeah.
Anyway, that I found that very amusing. What else do we have on the list today? Did you see the Bigger Luke conspiracy?
No, what is this?
So let me be clear, it is very rare where I bump into something from the original trilogy that I do not know to death. And this one is very, very funny. It's that there were two Lukes. There's Luke Prime and bigger Luke. And they're both in the movie, and you can measure them by using Harrison Ford as a yardstick. And sometimes Luke appears to be bigger, and sometimes Luke appears to be smaller. And it's all camera angles and, staging and framing and all of that. But it is really funny. And Mark Hamill actually tweeted over the weekend and added to the funny. So that story just really amused me. And it was also weird because I just watched that Mark Hamill Muppet episode like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah? Is it on HBO Max Plus Nexus?
It's on Disney Blumper Plus.
Oh, Disney Blumper Plus. Okay.
It actually, all the Muppet Show is on Disney Plus, and we went through and
Well,
watched,
Blumpify.com, you know where that goes.
I'm assuming that it goes to, what's the church for the people that hate the gay people? I assume it goes to their website.
It does not.
I hear
the Christian Reformed Church. That's the one.
If you go, you ready? If you go through their cookie
that's
pyramid,
where it goes.
What?
Yes, I bought that a number of months ago.
You bought Blumpify? Thanks, dude.
Blumpify.com, and it points it at robcommandertaco.net.
Awesome. I'm gonna get some excellent SEO for that for sure.
Well, I mean, you need to start streaming something there. Just do like a YouTube embed of the channel or something.
There you go. There should be something on that page. I should do anything
today
on that page.
On Blumpify.
I'm all in. All right, I'll work on that. That's my other to-do project was to make an NFT. I wanted to learn how to make an NFT.
It's not hard. There are websites that do it for you.
Yes, I realize that, but I still have to figure it all out, and I don't own
You should sell an NFT of the first Chips and Dip story.
I actually know what I'm gonna sell as an NFT. I got something.
Pen?
I got something. Oh, you can't sell an NFT of a pen. I guess you can sell an NFT of a picture of a
pen.
pen.
You can. An NFT of a picture of a pen.
So there's a cool story about magnets cleaning up space junk, which I thought they did one thing in that article which I thought was interesting, which was that they converted the estimated mass of all trash in space to school buses, and I kind of liked the idea of measuring it in school buses because it actually seems pretty manageable at that stage.
It's also something that they compare dinosaurs to quite often, if you'll notice.
It makes sense because, when you're pregnant, they map everything to fruit. So, congratulations, you have a cantaloupe,
a walnut.
Yes,
yeah.
Everything is matched to fruits, and then so then it makes sense then as you get larger that we have to measure it like that. It's the size of a Camry, or the size of a school bus. Or the size of, I think we use 747s as a unit of measure fairly frequently too. Anyway, I just liked thinking about that.
I like it when they compare dinosaur and cat brains to the size of a walnut or a kidney bean.
Makes me jealous. They got all that brain space to use.
Yep.
Wish I had some.
And all extinct like that. Not the cats, obviously, but the dinosaurs.
Yet.
Yeah. Yet.
I mean, mine are trying to get into a fighting fit with the squirrel.
Well, the squirrel's not going to fight itself,
That's true. We actually named our squirrels. We have Brittany and Gus and Beth, and my wife feeds them way too much.
So we have a number of squirrels and coyotes.
Oh, cool.
And deer and the odd cougar, as I've mentioned in the past. So, although it looks like the cougar went back to Poulsbo or Bremerton.
We have coyotes, and they
got some coyotes.
Yeah, and after they ate the swans, we were pretty sad about the coyotes because now we don't have swans. Although swans are pretty horrible.
So one thing about the satellite, right? So there were a number of startups that were supposed to do garbage collection and the rest, and
then they realized the Java virtual machine would do it for them.
Ha! That was a good joke. It wasn't a good joke.
That was a stupid joke, but I'm proud of it.
But my thing is this seems like, I bet you this ends up being like a municipal service, like the governments of the world come together and say, yeah, we got to clean this stuff up, and they get like a space trash compactor, and
I can't imagine that Elon Musk doesn't have a startup that he's going to start tweeting about pretty soon to do just that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So we've talked about pasta a number of times.
Yes.
And so for you, Chris, I put up the invention of a new pasta shape because it's optimized for different sauce stickiness. And I assume that, like, I knowing your Sicilian background and your love of food, it seemed to me that you could talk for about 20 minutes about pasta.
Well, so it's true. And I tried to buy this the other day, but the website was totally slacked. So let me see if I can get it working this time.
Because Papa needs science noodles.
Well, I felt it was charming. Also, that's a ridiculous amount to charge for shipping. But
so what are they called?
Cascatelli. Hold on a second. I finished my transaction. Today on Shopping with Chris for pasta,
he's buying nudes.
I'm
the
buying
internet.
noodles.
No, nudes.
See, I get to this page, I hit pay now, and it just dies.
No
and it's
nudes
very
for you.
Disappointing. Why? Why does it act this way?
Have you considered
Pay
that it
now.
might be science?
And nothing happens. Is it texting me or something?
They don't
It's
want your money.
infuriating. Well, that's what I assume, right?
Most of the
So
time.
yeah, I got as far as this last time, and bam, can't buy. So
I like that the article rates it on sauceability, forkability, and toothsinkability.
Yeah, toothsinkability. So apparently the right angles here are good for toothsomeness because they have a larger cross section. It's die extruded, which is why you get this sort of curly shape and these things here. So these curls end up pulling the entire structure into a curly shape. And yeah, I mean, it's a good looking piece of pasta, if I do say so myself. And you can get some really good meat chunks in between the little curly,
I feel like I need to make a nice ragu.
Or a bolognese would be perfect, right? Because it would just sort of like
say that again.
It's a bolognese.
That's how you pronounce that word.
Oh, you didn't know? How did you pronounce it? Bolognese?
I honestly had no
Bolognese?
idea how you would pronounce that word. Yeah,
a bolognese. Well, it matters if you're an East Coast mobster or not, right?
Right.
If you go full East Coast mobster, it's bolognese, But yeah,
and you add the A to everything at the end.
Yeah. And then you shoot somebody for calling you a shoe shine.
First, you have to hide the gun in the toilet.
Well, yeah. Well, that's done for you by your people.
By your people.
I
got people for that.
I got people for that. But so I should point out, Christine, my spouse, who was a chef for a long time, an Italian chef, she's cautiously optimistic, but she has beef with extruded pastas. Even ones that use a bronze die to do it, and there's some shapes you can only get from extrusion. So things like this, bucatini, the one that was, we had a shortage of, you can only extrude, right? You can't do it by hand.
You can't
right?
3D print it.
No, she uses her hands. We have a machine that squishes, but not extrudes, right? So we've got an Imperia, electric. She makes great fresh pasta. What can I say? And so, so anyway, I can't wait to try this out. It'll be super fun. But in the end, it is just pasta.
Yeah, well, there's also that.
Yeah. And you can't buy it because their website is broken.
Yeah, well, it's mythical pasta. It's like a 3080. It doesn't really exist.
I love their engineering diagrams.
Yeah.
Bucatini half tube plus ruffles create a
they
sauce trough for max sauceability.
A grid. And everybody knows that if you put something on a grid, it naturally seems smarter, cooler. See, look at my set. Look at my background.
Oh, that's cool. You have a grid. I get
it. I'm smart.
You're smart.
I know. Don't I seem smarter? All right. So.
Well, no. I want to point something out though. So the problem is, bronze die extrusion creates a rougher surface, but what that also means is if you overcook it even slightly, it can split along those rough surface lines, right? So this is a problem with rigatoni, right? So and there's a shorter, less volumatic, rigatoni, whose name escapes me at the time. But
Steve.
Christine doesn't like rigatoni because when she boils it, it'll split right when it hits al dente, and she's like, I can't stand this. This drives me crazy. So she got the smaller, thicker walled one, and she's very happy with it. So
See, I live in a house with a pair of tweens, so I basically only get to eat craft dinner.
Craft dinner.
Get your
That's
KD.
as well. Craft dinner.
Get your KD. The
Yeah,
children
you're close
will
enough
not
to Canada.
complain.
You should be calling it that. Yeah.
All right. There's actually a cool story, the Skylab one. I did not know how much. I've known the mutiny story, but I did not know that the mutiny story was essentially a media exaggeration. And it was actually, it had more to do with them missing the radio on a couple of orbits. They were grumpy, but they one of the things that they did was to try to optimize time. They set it up so instead of all three of them listening to the radio for the big meetings, they would just have one guy stay for the radio meetings as they passed the station, and that there was some miscommunication, and the wrong guy didn't get the radio call, and the media turned that into the myth that they had some sort of mutiny on Skylab. They said they were grouchy, and they were being overworked. But they also said that when the mission was done, that they actually completed more work than the previous mission, and the previous mission was lauded as being very good, very efficient, the best ever, and they did not, and none of them ever got to go to space again.
One morning, we received about 60 feet of instructions.
Yeah, on their printer.
Oh boy, on their little Wow.
So it's a cool story. That's worth reading. The one that's above it, we just were talking about we're doing the GDPR clicking thing, and you were having hassles with credit cards. But the glitter bomb article actually, they stepped through the process that one of the current scam techniques that they're using.
The refund scams.
Yeah, and there was another. Anyway, that was a cool story. But that reminds me, I just saw another one which was super related to this, which is another scam where the guy, his credit card auto-completed the last 4 digits of his credit card into a text field. He clicked the autofill my credit card, but there was a 4-digit field in the form. And so instead of it putting in the number that he intended, it overrode it with the last 4 digits of his credit card. So instead of paying like $100, he paid the last 4 digits of his credit card's worth of money.
That's probably more.
It was that was this one particular case. This was an interesting one too.
So I have to tell you, so I did watch this when it came out. I subscribed to Rober's channel, and also to Kitaboga, which is one of these guys who gets scammers on the phone for like 3 hours at a time.
We've watched him, I think, on
the kids love him. Yeah. And Kitaboga wasn't involved in this, but it's like, yeah, I've seen these before. But the thing about Rober's thing is he tracks down, he sends his glitter bomb to these people instead of money. And he actually ends up getting the guy who's renting out his Airbnb. And I'm like, dude, that was not okay.
Yeah.
You know, that was dirty pool. That guy was way cooler than he had any right to be with you people. You know, it wasn't his fault. Some jerks, grabbed his Airbnb for the day.
Well, they actually stepped through it really well. They showed that this lady would just go, she'd follow the FedEx truck, and she would go like get up on the porch and wait and get the package from the Airbnb. And it was super sketch. And the story is really interesting. They caught a few people and they turned over a bunch of other people to local law enforcement.
The Popo, yeah.
It's an interesting story, and as I have old people that I take care of, man, oh man, I get it.
Yeah. No, what kills me though is like, that these things go on, that people are making money from it, and they're the worst people on the planet. I think we've all agreed on that. And you're just like, how much can they actually really make? And he breaks it down, like how much one scam call center is making through. And then you're like, but how do they get the Americans to work with them? Is there like how do they get these people to do the muling of the money? And
and this video actually explained it really well.
It really did.
They talked about the supervisors and the mules, and it was, I don't know. I found that very informative. The screen that it's actually was paused on above there was actually really interesting, and it really, this moment in the video really shows you how much social engineering is going on.
Yeah.
Because the guy had like a minute-long speech about how this is not something that you can undo when you type these numbers in, and then while she's typing the numbers in, he's quick adding a couple of zeros. And you can you can hear him typing the zeros, the different keystrokes. I mean, it's really horrible, is what that is. Anyway, that one made me sad. But that article, that video itself, I found very informative. I've seen him do glitter bomb stuff before. I find Mike Roper very amusing. I liked his football video recently a lot too. He had
I liked his squirrel video.
Oh yeah, that was a great
the
one.
Squirrel obstacle course.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason he's got this many subscribers.
Yeah. He's smart, and he's got like a chill charm about him. He's kind of a perfect modern YouTube guy because he's so understated in his presentation.
Yeah.
But he has the skills.
And like so many of them, they all seem based in either like Utah, like Provo, Utah, or Canada.
I can't believe how many
or
of
Los
them are
Angeles.
in Texas. I feel like half of the people that I follow,
Evan and Caitlin.
I feel like half of the people that I follow on YouTube got impacted by the Texas power outage thing, and like they were all doing like, because like a 8-bit guy got his house flooded. But there was a bunch of them.
Did he shoot the flood? Did that help?
He shot the water with his machine gun.
He's kind of a gun nut, so
yeah. Be a gun nut.
Yeah, 8-bit guy, Evan and Caitlin. Who else do you follow?
There was a couple of others too. I saw like it was like 4 or 5 of them in like a 72-hour window. I'd have to look it up. But Evan and Caitlin, they should not be cold.
Well, they had a fire.
Yeah, they had a fire pit.
Yeah,
they burned their old projects to stay.
Well,
warm.
no, that'd be pretty toxic. I mean,
that's true. All that resin.
Burning. Yeah, resin time.
It's resin time. Resin time. Science adjacent with Evan and Caitlin. My kids watch that with me, and we all sing along now.
It's a very cute show.
So I didn't read the poop testing article. Which of you
Rob,
guys?
do you want to bring that? Rob, I think posted that one.
It's just another fake medical testing startup that tried
microbiome.
Yeah. So basically, you could send them stool samples, and then they would run their tests on it, and send you back the results. And it started getting a little bit bad for them once they started charging insurance companies. And then they got into some big cash and, federal fraud charges and such. But yeah, this is all based on, questionable science.
Was this a Y Combinator?
Yes, it was.
There's just enough science to make part of it accurate, and that's really all you need, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say something a little unkind. I think I was at the demo day where they presented, and I was like, I'm not comfortable sending a startup my poop. So I declined to invest. But it's one of those things where I just don't trust these people. And I'm wondering, because this is when, Theranos was still great guns, right? Everyone's like, oh my gosh, you didn't get into Theranos? Oh my God, you should get into Theranos. And I'm like, yeah, that's not my thing. And then this stuff comes up and they're like, it's the next Theranos. And I'm like, I'm not sure that's what you think it means,
Well, they're really smart because this is, predicted to be the next big boom in medical science because we're learning just how important gut health is to overall health. And
sure.
I mean, I can't tell you how many hours I've spent discussing fecal transplants with strangers on the street.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting area. Like the medical stool transplants are fascinating. But yeah, the thing is here, I know it sounds like I'm propping up the establishment and the man. If somebody's going to ask me for a stool sample, it better be $1 trillion company. So I know it's not just for some weird purpose.
So, so you're concerned that someone's filing away your stool sample
Yeah.
for improper purpose?
Yep.
Like they're like, ha! Finally, I found a way to get all the poop, and it's like, yeah, this is.
So it's really just a front for a pervert.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Clearly,
They're working on some way to fill balloons with poop and throw them in the next water balloon fight. They're going to escalate things, right? Just
well,
throw
yeah,
poop
or
balloons.
put it in the paper bag and light it on fire, so you step on it. You know? Sorry about that.
They can use that to combat like the next generation of glitter bomb. They can incorporate the fecal samples.
Anyway, it was a scam. So they were just, I think they were just throwing the poop away. I don't think they were using it for other purposes.
Oh, well, that's probably they're just flushing it. They just got a dude that's flushing it back in the regular old toilet.
My job was to flush the toilet at Microbiome.
That'd be damning
Please
evidence.
hire me. I'm sorry. I was a program manager for a Y Combinator back startup.
I got 700,000 options.
Maybe they did store it. They just have some guy there that when they come to raid the building, then he has to throw it all in the toilet and get rid of it.
Like
so
heroin.
Has, like an array of industrial strength toilets. He's, running to fill and get rid of all the evidence.
We installed high flush toilets just as our backup strategy.
No. What they really did is they had an RV, and they would just go to the RV park's, effluent depository, and they just like in the middle of the night go whoop,
dump it down those tubes.
Or all the city's parks suddenly have, fertilizer just given to them.
Lush.
Like you go to the town and you wonder why all the flowers are so big and lush in this town.
God, Palo
then you
Alto's
learn
gorgeous.
the horrible truth. Night soil.
Oh gosh. Wait, do you need to know anything more than this? For a time, their latest up-and-coming business determined to disrupt the medical testing industry in 2018. Richmond was even named an innovator winner in Goops, the Greater Goop Awards, and at its peak was valued at $600 million.
Yeah,
they married in 2019.
Once you're connected to Goop, you're legitimate.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I can't read this without making poop jokes. Went into liquidation. Ugh.
That's right. You're gonna make special soaps that smell of your own genitals for us next.
They're gonna wipe away the competition.
Oh. Hey, let's talk about if they flushed the poop. The other thing that you would have to worry about.
This is a very important story.
Is the toilet invading iguanas.
I'm not sure. I didn't know green iguanas invaded toilets. To be honest, is it because it's warmer there? Is that what the article says?
That's a good question because this is basically like a let's drag Florida story.
Well, I saw the same story, but it was just about the invasive pythons that are destroying all the wildlife. Yeah. I didn't see. This was the first one that I saw that had an iguana angle.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like they can. I think they get into the sewers and jam stuff up there. I don't think they could go up the pipe to the toilet.
No.
Well, it was funny. One of the comments was, "Oh, just open up the lid and look down. It's just like Australia."
I think they're going the other way.
Yeah.
The only thing I've ever heard about iguanas in Florida is when they have cold snaps, they go into a catatonic state and will fall out of trees and stuff.
Yeah, and it's raining iguanas. There's a song like that. It's raining iguanas. Hallelujah.
It's raining.
No. But yeah, they finally outlawed all exotic breeds there. So
yeah,
if you want crazy shit, you're gonna have to move to Texas now. Florida's pulled right out of all the you can have whatever animal you want business.
Well, as long as they don't add state taxes, state income taxes, they'll be fine.
They puncture seawalls. That's supposed to be reinforced concrete. Are these super iguanas? I mean, or is it just Florida adding too much sand to their seawalls? That's my question.
They just dig and ruin the seawalls that way.
An animal once prized in its exotic curiosity is now widely decried as a pest.
Wow. I like that Magnum PI joined the Discord channel, and then immediately noted the microbiology people don't like the poop startup.
Right?
He joined Discord to tell us that. So thank you, Magnum.
Yeah, and he's right. Yeah, no, this is the thing. It's like, and if you talk to people in the medical world about whether it's Neuralink or Theranos or microbiome, they're like, yeah, that shit's gonna kill people. They're like, let's be clear, Neuralink might work for about 2 weeks and then it'll foul and you won't be able to remove it unless you kill the person. And it's like, oh, okay, that sounds terrible.
They're gonna train iguanas.
Implanting something into your brain is potentially more hazardous than pooping in a bag, though.
Well, that's true. You're unlikely. Well, listen, this poop in the bag thing. We all know what that was. Really
Unless your aim is horrible, and then you're just too lazy.
Hold it closer.
Well, I'm just saying, there's a swimming pool somewhere in Mountain View, California, that's filled with stool samples.
Yikes!
It's a post-humanist collective.
All the iguanas are moving there.
We must save our poop for the future.
Let's talk about Perseverance's helicopter.
Yeah, that's cool. That's real science. Well, I mean, it's
so what they dropped the tray. It's exposed to the elements.
So here's the helicopter tucked underneath the rover, and they had this protective tray, and so they pooped out the tray, and then they'll probably pull forward, and then they'll unfold the helicopter. Then the helicopter will drop down, and then it'll move forward again, and then it'll be able to take off.
And it's piloted by a man who wears a black helmet. And whatever he looks at, the guns aim. If you are 8, it will be the coolest thing you've ever seen in your life.
And they can use the tray to hold whatever samples they find out there. Whatever fecal samples they find on Mars, go right in the tray.
That's the iguana food tray.
Listen, we gotta talk about 2 things. We have to talk about Martian Manhunter and the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
We have to talk about. There's so many things to talk about.
Well, we also have Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
And Falcon and the Boring. Oh yeah, Boring. Sorry, Boring and the Winter. Boring and the.
FatWS.
Hey, Batrock the Leaper was the bad guy in that.
That's right.
Yeah. Batrock.
Played by George St. Pierre.
Same guy.
Okay. Can we roll back? Right? Let's roll back to the Snyder Cut. Did you notice who was the voice of Martian Manhunter? It was David Harwood, who's the guy who plays John Jones in the TV show.
Yeah, but he's been voicing that guy forever, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been voicing the guy forever and acting as the guy.
Yeah.
When he's in his human form. So yeah.
What a weird.
So that was kind of cool. I kind of liked that they used his voice. But honestly, I watched the Snyder Cut, and I admit I did fast forward through some parts because I'm like, but like they had so much at the end about a fictional Snyder flavor of the DC universe that will never ever happen.
Yeah, and that's the
I'm
stuff
like,
they
this is
shot
a waste of time.
That was the reshoots that they added for the Snyder Cut. Like, how stupid was that?
It was kind of dumb.
Now,
it was very throwaway.
I don't know if Clampy is monitoring right now, but I think he was the one who said he actually liked it. But I felt like if you just cut that epilogue off, and then
the whole like bad world,
and took out like the minute or so worth of material that was related to that sort of parallel universe thing existing, that you would have an okay movie.
Well, it's that whole storyline is such an iconic and very popular DC storyline that I think if you're a real DC fan, it's cool that something other than an animated series alludes to it and actually shows it.
For sure.
Now, I'm with you. If this was just coming out, it makes sense that would be to me, because you want more Justice Leagues, right? You want to make a third or fourth installment.
For sure.
But as it is, it doesn't really serve a purpose other than to say, and also, since this is decidedly better than the original, I would have done this.
Yeah.
So screw those guys twice.
Yeah.
Jerks.
I felt like, though, if you're going to do a mic drop like that, you want it to be better.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because it wasn't good. And also, we come back to the same thing that I've said about Superman for years. He's so OP. It doesn't, there was never a moment where Batman was going to survive a fight with Superman. It's just,
But Batman
never going to happen. Like one hit.
Batman has superpowers that he can never lose.
Yeah, he's got the Iron Man superpowers where inertia doesn't affect him or something. But
that too.
yeah, it's just. Yeah, so I was watching it, I was just like, what? I'm like, I'm gonna go to bed. I'd rather sleep than watch, Zack Snyder say, and if I had control of this universe, I would do this. Yeah.
Christopher was criticizing
Yeah.
that the Flash's personality was Spider-Man, but that doesn't actually bother me because Barry Allen is supposed to be like the quippy, sarcastic, silly guy. I'm fine with that.
And honestly, I love the Flash in every form. I'm physically incapable of not loving whatever the Flash does.
I'm pretty burnt out on the CW Flash this season.
Well, I stopped watching like season 4, so
smarter than me.
Did it become a musical yet?
Yes. No, but they have shown you why Elongated Man isn't in the show anymore.
Right? I liked how they did that.
Well, it was because he was racist, right?
Yes.
Or did they retcon?
Right, but that's not what they say on the Flash.
Yeah.
Sorry, Elongated Man, you had a racist tweet a long time ago, and you can't be part of the
team. That'd be good, though. Can you imagine?
That would be
stop
funny.
Using any actors. Yeah.
Okay.
But now let's flip over to boring and the boring.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So, okay, I have to get this off of my chest because this is so. I liked.
Speak it.
I liked 2/3 of.
Testify.
I liked 2/3 of FatWS. I liked pretty much everything to do with Sebastian Stan. I liked the opening action sequence. I liked that Winter Soldier's got like he's having nightmares and like this is how he's trying to deal with it. Like he's going back and trying to make amends. I like that. What I could not get over that makes no plausible sense to me. So you've got Falcon, who like 6 months ago watched a bunch of ladies carry an infinity gauntlet across a battlefield and defeat Thanos. And it's like been, 6 months? And he can't make a phone call to Pepper Potts and say, hey,
to get a boat payment?
I was an Avenger. Yeah. I was an Avenger with Tony. You and I, we know each other. We go back, okay? And I don't need you to give me the money. I think
it's because Gwyneth Paltrow's goop money is only for white people.
And poop startups.
It's only for poop. It's all tied up in poop.
If he went around scaring pigeons away from cars so they wouldn't poop on cars, then maybe she would give him the money.
So so my problem though is that whole thing, which ate up like a quarter of the episode.
It was a lot of the episode. The money problems of his sister,
Like I found that to be so stupidly implausible. So we've never like even WandaVision.
Like the likelihood of come on, if he had co-signed the loan, the bank would have given the loan. They're like, absolutely. Oh, you're Falcon. And you're gonna have money.
So this is not. He doesn't need that boat. I don't know what that boat is worth, but that is not like a multi-million-dollar boat. They need a few hundred.
Oh yeah, it is.
That boat was a multi-million-dollar boat.
Oh yeah, that's a
fishing boats are expensive, but
you have to get the nets and the hydraulics to run all the net. That's a lot of money.
But okay, so maybe I misinterpreted that. The family owns the boat. She just needed to make payments and repairs. Like she needs a few $100,000.
That would probably revamp it.
And
now I'm talking if you were to buy all that stuff brand new.
Sure, but I assume that they've got some equity built in this since this is the boat that they grew up on and everything. Like it's been around, it's been in their family for a while because he cares about it. So anyway, I just could not that was so stupid that it made everything connected to his character from that point on just seem dumb.
I thought the flying action sequences were okay, but that was, did you think that wasn't going to be in the show?
Right.
I mean, it's just, it's fine. It's not groundbreaking or anything. It's just fine. It was okay. My favorite part was sort of the twist with the old man he had befriended. When you figure out who that old man was, I'm like, oh, that's terrible.
That's dark. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. But the whole idea that he's going through AA for all the people he tried to assassinate while he was a villain is stupid.
All right, let's have a discussion.
Okay, so
this is a used shrimp boat.
I want to get this out here. I liked that he can't, and he's not doing it for like a Jesus reason. He's doing it because he can't sleep. He's doing it because he's trying to figure out a way to make a peace with his past life, and so he's trying to deal with it. But what I like about it is at least it's directly connected to his actions as the Winter Soldier, as a superhero. Anthony
I would have been
Mackie's entire backstory for the show is utterly unrelated to the fact that he has a superhero, and it in fact ignores the fact that he's a superhero, so he might as well be a different human being.
I would have been fine with it if tonally the rest of his story was lighthearted and comedic, because the idea that that would exist is ridiculous. And if you're going to have a slightly ridiculous storyline, that's okay. But if you're going to have a storyline where you're like, oh, I'm best friends with, spoiler alert, the father of someone I murdered, who was having a hard time getting over the death of his child. And also, this is part of my 12-step program to make amends for being a supervillain. Those two things just don't tonally work for me together.
See, I see your argument. I see your point. I don't disagree. But what I keep coming back to is at least that is connected to him being the Winter Soldier, a warrior, a hero, a combat veteran. It's connected to all of that. Anthony Mackie's backstory has nothing to do with anything. It's just literally he knows somebody from his previous life. And in fact, whatever he has earned, cred, money, respect, contacts, we ignore all of that to advance that plot line. That's bad writing.
If you would, I forgot what I was going to say. It was if you were to ask me what happened, like, did you watch the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and you're to say what's it about or what happened? What would you say? You'd say, oh, Winter Soldier's a little depressed that he was the Winter Soldier, and Falcon has money problems and chased some bad people at the beginning. That's the show.
Yep.
Wait, no. What you guys missed is that it turns out that Anthony Mackie is the son of Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. He
Bringing it back around.
So this is all part of the Forrest Gump cinematic universe, crossing over
the Zemeckis-verse.
The Zemeckis-verse, and then you'll have Marty McFly come in and try to undo the
final
boss is creepy dead eyes Tom Hanks.
That's right.
Just to level set, just to be clear, it is still better than probably all the CW DC.
Oh, definitely. Well, okay.
Oh,
that's
a bit.
That's not a high bar.
Not Doom Patrol.
I'm sorry. Early Flash was really fun. I really enjoyed it, but not much.
I think though that all of the CW shows suffer from the cardinal sin, which is we've got to create a machine that can generate 22 hours of television a year for 5 to 7 years. That is not a good storytelling place to start from. This is 6 episodes. We've got all the characters' powers already defined, so we don't have to mess with backstory or origin story.
We don't need origin stories.
We can just go and tell a cool story that fleshes, and that's why WandaVision was so great, because everything in WandaVision expands on stuff that we knew about these characters and made them more interesting. This expands in a place that's just not that character.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be more cop buddy movie right away.
Yeah.
But they don't even meet once in the show? The only thing is they look at Falcon's phone and they're like, "Oh, he's been calling you a lot, or you've been calling him."
Yeah.
Or no, Winter Soldier called him, and that was it.
Yeah.
Did you think he called the Winter Soldier and asked him for a loan? Like, Jesus. hey, bud, can you front me? Because I know you've got 102 years of interest.
Can you call any of the 100 people who popped out of the portals? Can you call somebody in Wakanda? Your buddy's arm is made of vibranium, right?
Yeah, you'd think he'd be able to get on the horn and say, "Hello, U.S. government. Could you please fix up my shrimp boat? I did save the world."
Yeah. I'm not asking for a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Let's say goodbye to the universe. Just to be clear, I enjoyed it enough. I'm going to watch it. I'm all in.
I'm going to watch it, but it was dull.
But yeah, it's gonna get better. I hope it does, because if it does, then it's gonna not.
And
go well.
Amblue is channeling me with my whole. This isn't a superhero. This is just a guy with poor impulse control and a jetpack.
You're not wrong. All right. Goodbye, Chris DeBona.
Goodbye, Jenny.
Goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
Goodbye.
I'm Rob Commander Taco Maldo. This has been episode 593 of Geeks in Space. We'll see you tomorrow watching Troll Hunter. It's going to be